Hey there, it's Jane, and today I want to talk about something we all face: making tough decisions. As a CEO, I've had to make choices that felt like standing at a crossroads with no map. But here's the thing: tough decisions don't just shape your career, they shape who you are. So, listen carefully, settle in, and let's dive into how we can approach these moments with clarity, courage, and a little wisdom, inspired by an unexpected source, a monk I met years ago. This is going to be a real, heart-to-heart conversation, and I hope it leaves you feeling inspired to tackle your next big choice. Let's start with a story. Early in my career, I was offered a dream job, great pay, prestige, the works, but it meant moving across the country, away from my family and the small startup I'd poured my heart into. I was paralyzed. Do I chase the shiny opportunity or stay true to my roots? Around that time, I attended a mindfulness retreat, desperate for clarity. There, I met a monk who shared a simple but profound idea. A tough decision is only tough because you're fighting what your heart already knows. He told me to sit quietly, breathe, and ask myself, what aligns with who I want to become? Not just what looks good on paper, but what feels true. That moment was a game changer. I realized tough decisions aren't about choosing between right and wrong. They're about aligning your choices with your values. So, I turned down the job. I stayed with my startup. And that choice led to building a company that's not just successful, but meaningful to me. Here's the first lesson. When you're stuck, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what decision honors the person I'm striving to be? It's like a compass for your soul. Now, let's talk about why tough decisions feel so heavy. It's fear of failure, of letting people down, or of missing out. I remember deciding whether to pivot my company during a rough financial year. We were bleeding cash, and the safe choice was to double down on what we knew. But my gut said we needed to innovate, even if it was risky. I was terrified. What if I tanked the company? What if my team lost faith in me? Here's where another piece of monk wisdom came in. He said, fear is a loud guest, but you don't have to let it stay. Instead of letting fear drive, I leaned into mindfulness. I started journaling every morning, writing down my fears, and then countering them with facts and possibilities. It helped me see that the risk of staying stagnant was worse than the risk of change. We pivoted, and not only did we survive, but we thrived. Lesson 2, don't ignore fear, but don't let it make your decisions. Ground yourself in reflection, whether it's journaling, meditating, or just a quiet walk. Clarity comes when you give your mind space to breathe. So, how do you actually make the call? Here's the framework I've used for years, and it's rooted in both my experience and that monk's timeless wisdom. Step 1, define your core values. For me, it's integrity, impact, and connection. When I'm torn, I ask, which path aligns with these? Step 2, gather perspective, but don't outsource your choice. Talk to mentors, friends, or your team. But remember, you're the one who has to live with the decision. Step 3, embrace the good enough choice. Perfection is a myth. As the monk put it, the best decision is the one you make with intention, not the one that's flawless. And finally, step 4, act with conviction. Once you decide, commit fully. Doubt will creep in, but don't let it derail you. Let me share one last story. A few years ago, I had to decide whether to fire a key executive. They were talented but toxic to our culture. It was agonizing. I worried about the fallout, the optics, everything, but I went back to my values, integrity, and connection. Keeping them would betray our team's trust. So I made the call. It was messy, but it opened the door to a healthier, stronger company. That's the thing about tough decisions. They're not just obstacles. They're opportunities to grow into the leader, the person you're meant to be. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time you face a tough decision, don't rush through it. Sit with it. Reflect on who you want to be. Let your values guide you, and trust that the right choice is the one that feels true to you. I'd love to hear your stories. Drop them in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. If this resonated, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little clarity too. Until next time, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and keep growing.